Your world, your challenges, your faith. When faith within engages the world without, there's power. It's living life from the inside out.
Many of us feel too busy to get to what we say are the most important things. Prayer, Bible reading, writing that encouraging note to a widow, that kind of thing. And if we usually think there's just not enough time, look at where we are in the calendar. The busyness just ramps up between Thanksgiving and Christmas. But getting to what's really important may not be as impossible as we think. Welcome to Inside Out on Family Life. I'm Martha Manikas Foster, and here to talk about time, perception, and what's really possible is Megan Evans Hill. Megan's the managing editor for the Gospel Coalition and the author of several books for adults, including last year's Patience, Waiting with Hope. Her first children's book is coming out in 2023. Last year, she published an intriguing TGC article with Sarah Eckhoff Zylstra titled Build Spiritual Habits in Just a Few Minutes. Welcome back, Megan, to Inside Out.
Thank you so much for having me, Martha.
Now, you do it all, right? You're the Renaissance woman. You edit, you write, you invest in your marriage, your children, and your church, and you find time for the spiritual disciplines that all of us Christians, we believe are vital to our relationship with God, but they're often the things that we feel like we're too busy for. Now, you would say that we're actually not too busy to pray for a friend, read a psalm, or worship with our families. Tell us about this experiment that you and your co-author engaged in.
Yeah, so Sarah and I started thinking that we all the time think, oh, well, at the end of the day, I just didn't have time to read my Bible today, or I just didn't have time to pray today. And we thought, I wonder how much time it actually takes to do those things. When I say I didn't have time, what am I saying? Am I saying I didn't have 30 minutes? Am I saying I didn't have 3 minutes? How long did it take? So we set out to time ourselves doing different things, reading a particular book of the Bible, or praying with somebody, or reading a chapter in a Christian book, or, making a meal for somebody. And we timed ourselves to see exactly how long that thing would take. So that then, when we were planning our days, we would have a realistic sense of, actually, I do have 5 minutes. I could do one of these things.
So time's going to be even more precious these next weeks. We add responsibilities to what, are already full days. Would you give us some examples of what priorities we actually can include in our lives that might surprise us?
Yeah. So, for example, there are something like 10 books of the Bible that you can read in 10 minutes.
Really?
Which is the same amount of time that it takes you to make a cup of tea or to take a shower or something. So a book like Jonah, a book like Titus, a book like 2 Peter, those books, you can either read them or you can put them on your smart speaker. You can listen to somebody else read them to you. So while you're making your cup of tea, you can listen to an entire book of the Bible.
So let's say this is eye-opening to us, and we say, oh, wow, maybe there's some things that I say are important, but I don't fit them into my life. I do get to the end of the day and say, oh, I should have done that. How would you suggest we start to fit these things into our lives?
I would say you can start with some things that take very little time. Praying for someone can take as little as, 30 seconds, or reading one Bible verse can take less than 30 seconds. So start with those little things. And another thing that I would say that's been really helpful to me is pairing sort of spiritual activities with another activity. Like I said, while I'm starting a load of laundry, well, that takes about a minute to start a load of laundry. It's also the amount of time that it takes to sing a verse of a hymn. And so while I'm doing the laundry, I can be singing a song of praise to the Lord. Or, I mentioned tea earlier. It takes me about 10 minutes to get the water, boil the water, brew my cup of tea. Well, what am I doing during those 10 minutes? Well, I could be writing in my prayer journal. I could be calling somebody and praying with them. I could be sending an email to someone. So pairing those things has been helpful to me too.
In a sense, you could almost make that into some sort of a mental connection too. So you could find that you're always singing praises to God while doing laundry.
Yes. And then in your mind, you're like, oh, got to do laundry. And then you're immediately reminded, oh, time to sing a little praise.
Oh, that's terrific. What of this experiment is the most dear to you? What is the thing that you were maybe the most surprised by, or that you've held on to the most from doing this experiment?
I think that part of what has really stuck with me is how little time it takes to do good to someone else as well. And so not just being sort of me reading the Bible, me praying, but send an email to somebody, send a text to somebody, okay, I've prayed this verse. Now can I text it to somebody? Now can I call somebody and say, I'm going to pray in a minute. Is there something I can pray for you about? Can I send an email to somebody encouraging them? And so sort of going, hey, if I've got time to do a few things for myself, I probably have time to do a few things that would encourage others also.
And what a wonderful way for us to go into the holidays to be able to say, hey, that's when I started really getting into some spiritual disciplines because I found out it's easier than I thought.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you for the insight and for joining me on Family Life's Inside Out, Megan.
It was so much fun, Martha.
Megan Evans-Hill is the author of several books for adults, including Patience, Waiting with Hope, and has a children's book coming out in early 2023. Connect with Megan on Twitter at Megan Evans-Hill. I'm Martha Manikas Foster with Inside Out on Family Life.